Morning always carries a gentle kind of beauty, a beauty we often forget in the rush of plans and responsibilities. But right now, as you are here, you are giving your mind a gift that not everyone remembers to offer themselves, the gift of pausing. A soft pause that opens the door for light to enter before the world becomes noisy. Morning does not need anything grand to feel meaningful. It only needs a quiet moment you give to yourself. That moment can come from a breath, a thought, or simply the awareness that today you have a chance to begin again, to be softer with yourself, and to walk into the day with slow and mindful steps. Some people start their morning by checking the news, reading emails, replying to messages, or scrolling through things that only make the mind heavier. But you did not choose that. You chose to enter the day with stillness, a stillness gentle enough for good things to find their way in. In this moment, you do not need to be strong, you do not need to look fine, and you do not need to lift yourself into any perfect state. You only need to be present. That presence is already the most precious part of the morning, because from presence, you begin to notice the subtle movements inside your mind. You realize that what you need is not a big encouragement or a solid plan for the whole day, but a simple reminder that you deserve a bright beginning. Morning is the time when the mind is like a blank page. Everything you choose to place on it will color the hours ahead. And today you chose light. The light of peace, of awareness, of a soul that honors the simple and beautiful rhythm of life. So I want to send you a soft greeting. Good morning, and thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time to nourish your mind instead of rushing into the day. Thank you for choosing gentleness as the first gift for your heart. Today you do not need to become anyone else. You only need to step into the day with an open spirit, a warm breath, and a quiet trust that you are moving in the right direction. This is the moment you offer yourself a new beginning. And morning will always be more beautiful when you allow it to be. Take a small moment to return to your breath. There is no need to adjust anything, simply notice that you are breathing. Breathe in gently as if you are inviting peace to enter the space within. Breathe out slowly as if you are placing down the unnamed weight that has been sitting in your mind for days. With each breath, you remind yourself that you are still here, still given a chance to begin again in a softer way. Morning carries a special kind of energy. When the world has not fully awakened, your mind has a rare, quiet space to settle and renew. That is why those who begin their day in silence often move through the day with more steadiness. You do not need deep meditation or complex techniques. A single conscious breath is enough to pull you out of the invisible currents. Sometimes when you open your eyes in the morning, your heart may not feel light yet. You might still sense yesterday lingering somewhere in your body. You may still carry an unfinished story, a worry without a name, or a pressure you are unsure how to release. But right now you are breathing, and breath is the beginning of every transformation. With each inhale, you allow yourself to return to presence. With each exhale, you allow yourself to soften. When you gently look into your breath, you are giving your mind a message that you do not have to run, that you are allowed to move slowly, that you do not need to step into the day pulled by duties or unresolved fears. Let your chest open a little. Place your hand over your heart if it makes you feel safer. Feel that small movement inside your body. It is your own voice, not anyone else's. It is the real rhythm of life unfolding without rush and without pressure. Morning is a beautiful time to return to yourself without the noise of the world. With just 3 mindful breaths, you create a steady ground within to enter the day with more clarity. You can notice how your body feels right now. Are your shoulders tense? Is your jaw tight? Is your mind running toward things that have not happened yet? Each time you notice a tight spot, simply breathe softness into it. Breath knows how to loosen what you cannot force open. This is the quiet magic of presence. You do not have to try too hard. You only need to allow. And now I want to ask you gently what brought you here this morning. Are you seeking peace, steadiness, or simply a moment to return to yourself? Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing yourself one more deep breath in this gentle morning. There are mornings when sunlight fills the window, yet your mind does not feel as light as you hoped. You open your eyes and notice your heart is holding something you cannot quite name. Maybe it is a worry left over from the night before. Maybe it is an unfinished conversation that still echoes inside you. Maybe it is the weight of plans you are unsure how to begin or responsibilities that feel larger than what you have to offer. And sometimes there is no clear reason at all. You simply feel not okay, even though everything on the outside appears normal. This does not mean you are weak. It only means you are a human being who is honest with the movements within yourself. We all have mornings like this mornings when the mind feels a little tangled, a little heavy, a little tired. Some people hide these feelings by rushing into the day. Some try to be stronger than they need to be. Some stay silent, hoping everything will fade on its own. But you do not need to do that. You are pausing. You are giving yourself a moment to breathe. And your mind is grateful for that. Morning is a sensitive time. It is like a mirror reflecting the deeper part of your soul. If you wake with heaviness, the rest of the day may take on that color. So the answer is not to run from what you feel, but to look at it with gentleness. To see it and understand that you are in need of a little support, a little listening, a little space to loosen your grip. Often our mind is not tired because of big events, but because of small things gathered over time. An unfinished task, a pressure you have not shared with anyone, a self-expectation that has become too high, a quiet comparison that makes you feel not enough. These small things are not heavy on their own, but together they create a floating discomfort that is hard to explain yet familiar to everyone. The truth is, you do not have to fix everything right now. You do not need to fully understand what is happening inside you. You only need to acknowledge that this morning your heart feels a little heavier than usual. That alone is the first step toward ease. Awareness is always the beginning of change. When you allow yourself to feel what is present, you are no longer pulled by it without knowing. Today, remember that you do not need to fight your own morning. You only need to walk with it. Slow down enough to ask yourself one gentle question. What am I feeling right now? This question is not for analysis or judgment, but to give yourself the chance to understand what your heart needs. Thank you for offering yourself this soft attention. Thank you for choosing to face your feeling instead of avoiding it. And thank you for being here in a moment where you could have chosen something else, but instead you chose peace. Morning always carries a quiet chance to choose again how you want to enter the day. Not through perfection, not through exceptional strength, but through one gentle and beautiful thought. Thought soft enough to ease what feels heavy inside you and bright enough to open the direction for the hours ahead. One of the simplest yet strongest gifts you can offer yourself in the morning is this reminder that you do not need to control everything. You do not need to push yourself to prove that you are fine. You do not need to chase standards that leave you exhausted. You only need a little peace to begin. That alone can change the way you move through the whole day. When you allow yourself to release some expectations, you will notice more room inside your mind to breathe. Many people grow up believing they must be strong all the time. But the truth is, morning does not ask you to be strong. It simply invites you to be real. And in that honesty, you will find a gentle and human kind of beauty. You can let your mind rest on a simple idea. Today, I do not need to be perfect. I only need to be present. This thought is like a doorway into peace. When you stop placing yourself under the pressure of perfection, you begin to notice the goodness already within you. You start appreciating each small step you take, each feeling you move through, each choice you have the courage to make. Morning is also the best time to plant a seed in your inner garden. That seed may be a loving reminder, a soft belief, or simply the sense that today you deserve peace. When you plant the right seed, your mind will naturally find ways to help it grow throughout the day. There is a gentle truth about the human mind. It responds to the first thought you give it in the morning. If that thought is worry, it will follow worry. If that thought is fear, it will magnify what has not happened. But if that thought is a spark of light, a soft reminder, a small gratitude, the entire day will be colored in a quieter and kinder tone. So this morning, choose one beautiful thought to begin with. A thought like a warm cup of water handed to your soul. A thought simple enough to remember yet deep enough to support you through the day. And if you need a suggestion, you can hold this gentle sentence. Today I allow myself to be at peace. This sentence does not promise anything grand. It simply opens you to a softer way of living, a gentler way of looking at yourself, and a calmer way of stepping into the new day without being pulled back by what you left behind last night. If you are listening to these words, know that the morning is inviting you to choose a lighter path, and you are fully allowed to choose it for yourself. If you want to plant a beautiful thought in your mind this morning, leave a comment or simply one letter, so I know you are here and ready to open your heart to the new day. Thank you for being here. There is something interesting about the human mind that we often overlook. In the morning, it is like soft soil. Whatever you plant in this moment has the power to grow strongly throughout the day. Morning is not the time when the mind argues or resists. It is usually more open, more receptive, and easily guided by the first emotion you choose to nourish. So today I want to offer you a simple mental law. If you understand it and use it well, it can change the way you walk through your day. The law is this: the mind will follow whatever you give it to hold first. It sounds small, but it is deeper than you think. When you begin the morning with worry, the mind immediately magnifies things that have not happened. When you start your day in a rush, the mind keeps you in that rhythm until night. When you open your phone without awareness and scroll through chaotic news, the mind is pulled into that chaos. And you may wonder all day why focus feels hard and peace feels distant. But if you begin the morning with something simple, bright and light, such as the breath, a gentle reminder, or a beautiful thought, your mind will follow that path instead. It will look for more peaceful things to strengthen that early feeling. It will react with more ease. It will lean toward solutions instead of confusion. This is how the mind naturally works. It is not spiritual or mystical. It is simply the way the human brain responds to its first signal. The mind always looks for something to hold because that gives it safety. If you do not choose on purpose, it will return to what it knows best. Worry, defense, comparison, doubt, self-blame. But when you offer it a point of light, even a small one, it moves in a different direction. It softens. It brightens. It seeks balance instead of tension. You do not need to believe this right away. Just try it for one day. One morning that begins with peace. One day where your mind is guided by the first good thing you offer it. You will see everything shift in a natural, effortless way. Remember, you cannot control every circumstance, but you can control the first window your mind looks through in the morning. And that window decides whether you see the world in light or in shadow. So the mental law for today is simple. Choose the first thing you want your mind to hold. Choose it with intention. Give light the chance to step in before worry arrives. One small choice in the morning can become the beginning of a completely different day. Among all the choices a day can bring, the simplest one is often the one we forget. Morning does not need complicated plans to feel meaningful. It only needs one small action. An action gentle enough to bring your mind back to a sense of ownership and steady enough to remind you that you can choose how you enter the day. Today I want to invite you to try something very soft. Spend just 1 minute with one supportive thought. You do not need a thick book. You do not need a long passage. Only one sentence. One sentence that helps turn your mind in a calmer direction before the day sweeps you away. One sentence that reminds you that you guide the rhythm of your emotions, not the world outside. You can choose any sentence. One you once loved. One that makes you feel steadier. One that softens you. one that reminds you of your worth. The words do not matter as much as the fact that you pause on purpose to offer your mind a point of support. When you choose a bright anchor, your mind will naturally move along a lighter path. You can write this sentence on a small piece of paper and place it on your desk. You can set it as a morning note on your phone, or you can repeat it silently while preparing a warm drink. Just 1 minute. 1 minute of presence. 1 minute to remind yourself that today you are not moving on autopilot, you are moving from inner steadiness. Many people think they need big changes to shift the feeling of a day. But what usually transforms a day comes from very small things. A thought placed in the right spot, a breath taken with awareness, a gentle action done with full presence. When repeated each morning, these small things become a new pattern for the mind, and that new pattern is where peace can stay longer. You can try closing your eyes for a few seconds and ask yourself, what do I want my mind to hold today? Which direction do I want my emotions to follow? Do I want to enter the day with peace or with tension? Your answer will guide the sentence you use for this minute. 1 minute is not long, but it has the power to reset the entire rhythm of your morning. 1 minute acts as a reminder that you are not being dragged by life. You are walking with intention. You are choosing a way of living that matches your heart instead of the invisible pressures you once carried. So I want to leave you with one soft question. If you could choose only one sentence to support your mind this morning, what would it be? Thank you for sharing your presence. Thank you for being here and taking time to nourish your inner strength. Morning is the moment when the soul settles most easily. While the world is still quiet, your heart has a gentle space to touch the peace that you often cannot find throughout the rest of the day. So in this moment, I invite you to step into a soft prayer. Not a prayer asking for anything grand, but a whisper that brings you back to the steadiness within. You may place your hand on your heart or simply rest your gaze on something still. Take a quiet breath, and we begin. May I enter this new day with a brighter spirit. May the heaviness left from yesterday be placed down gently so I do not carry it any further. May I have enough stillness to see what truly matters and enough courage to release what no longer belongs to me. May I know how to return to my breath whenever my mind becomes tangled, so that even in my most chaotic moments, I can find my inner anchor. May I learn to be gentle with myself, not pushing to be strong all the time, not blaming myself for what is unfinished, not comparing my path with anyone else. May I stay grateful for what I have and trust what is coming, even when I cannot see the whole road yet. May my heart soften toward discomfort and open to the goodness this day may bring. May I have the clarity to see my choices, the peace to not be pulled by vague worries, the patience to avoid rushing decisions when my mind is unsettled, and the trust to know that I do not have to walk through everything alone. May the tired parts of me rest. May the fearful parts be soothed. May the hurting parts be healed by truth, kindness, and the quiet love that has always been present within me. If I face difficulty today, may I see it with wider eyes. If I feel lost, may I find one small point to hold on to. If my heart feels heavy, may I know how to place some of the weight down even just a little. May I step into this day with a listening heart, a mind that chooses what is good, and a spirit that can smile, even because of the smallest things. May I feel peace in the places I go, in the people I meet, and within every breath I take. And may I remember that wherever I am on my journey, I am worthy of peace, of love, and of a new day filled with light. Amen. In the gentlest spirit of a morning prayer. Every morning carries a quiet invitation. It does not arrive through noise or anything dazzling. It comes through the softness of first light. After you have moved through your breath, felt your mind, touched your true emotions, planted a beautiful thought, and chosen one small action to nourish your peace, this moment becomes the gentlest closing to your morning ritual. I want you to know that your presence here is not an accident. Life often brings us to the exact place we need at the exact moment we are ready to receive. Maybe you came because you needed a little calm. Maybe you came because you wanted to understand yourself more. Or maybe you simply needed a place for your mind to rest after long days. Whatever the reason, your presence in this moment is meaningful. And I want to send you a blessing as soft as breath. May you step into this new day with a heart no longer afraid of what has not yet arrived. May you have enough gentleness to forgive what is old and enough courage to walk toward what is waiting for you ahead. May you keep the small light within you even when the world around feels darker than you hoped. And may you find steady ground inside so that every step you take rises from a place of calm. Morning is beautiful, not because it is perfect, but because you choose to see it with an open mind and a listening heart. Whatever happens today, you can return to this moment in your memory to remind yourself that peace always has a place for you to come back to. Now I want to invite you to leave a small sign of your presence. Not for me to know you are here, but for you to acknowledge something to yourself. I am changing. I am walking with more intention. I am choosing peace for my life. If you feel ready, you can comment, "I am ready to change," or simply one letter. A small action, but a declaration to your own heart that you have begun a new journey in the softest, most honest way. Thank you for walking through the morning with me. Thank you for choosing to stay with yourself. Thank you for allowing these gentle words to touch your life in the way you needed. I hope that each time you return, you will discover another layer of peace, another corner of light inside your mind. If you want to keep receiving morning rituals like this, you can follow along so each day we can step into the morning with awareness and tenderness. No pressure, no grand expectation, only two minds walking through the morning in the calmest way. Wishing you a day that is bright, soft, and deeply peaceful. Morning always carries its own gentle beauty. When the first light touches the earth, the world seems to soften a little and quiet down a little. And no matter how heavy yesterday felt, you can still begin again from this very moment. This is the time when the mind receives the most easily, because nothing is too loud, yet nothing is too rushed, yet nothing is pulling you in too many directions. In this quiet space, a simple morning prayer can become the anchor for your entire day. Let your mind settle for a moment. Breathe in slowly. Exhale deeply. And when you are ready, allow these words to flow into your heart like warm morning water. Lord of peace and light, in this morning, I come to you with an open heart and a sincere spirit. I do not ask for anything grand. I only ask to begin this day with a clearer mind, a gentler heart, and a steadier step. Help me cherish the small moments of life, the moments I often pass by without noticing their quiet value. Grant me enough peace so I am not swept away by things beyond my control. Grant me clarity to see what needs to stay and what needs to be released. Help me listen to myself more instead of running after the invisible pressures that life places on my shoulders. And soften my heart so I can treat myself with the same kindness I offer to others. If today brings challenges, give me calmness to walk through them without losing my presence. If today brings joy, help me receive it fully without comparing myself to anyone else. If anything stirs my heart, give me the strength to stand firm and the softness to not hurt myself in the process. Stay with me in every breath, every thought, every step. Not to lead me into a perfect life, but to remind me that I am never alone. Even when I am tired or uncertain or anxious, you remain here in every ray of light, every beat of my heart, every moment when I pause long enough to feel your nearness. Give me the strength to choose peace instead of haste, kindness instead of defense, trust instead of doubt, and the courage to return to myself instead of running away from the feelings I struggle to name. I know life will have difficult days, but I also know there is a quiet source within me, steady, bright, and strong, and I ask you to help me touch that source whenever I need it. This morning I place my day in your gentle guidance. Help me walk with peace, act with clarity and love, with a heart that is healing little by little. Amen. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this morning journey. May your day be soft, bright, and enough